Happy Valentine's Day, friendo! This is the outfit I would be wearing if I had a date. But I'm not wearing it because I have a date. I'm wearing it because I don't have a date. Actually, I'm starting to think that this outfit is probably the reason I don't have dates. I think that that might be it. Point is, I figured some of you might be single as well, and you might want to spend Valentine's Day with this kid, because what else are we gonna do? And even better, I thought that I could tell you a story so that you all can feel better about yourselves, because no matter how bad your romantic lives can be, I'm 99% sure that you haven't been as bad as I have. This is the cringy story of how I broke into someone's house. A little bit of background for those of you who don't know everything about me. I'd be a little bit scared if you did know everything about me. I grew up in Catholic school, and I was this emo scene weeb sort of a kid, which explains why I have blonde hair with black streaks all over it, doesn't it? Whew. But the thing about that is, when you are emo, you think things like knives and blood are sexy, and when you are a weeb, you think things like yandere are sexy. So those two together, it's a dangerous combination. You start to think that things like, stalking people or breaking into their houses is sexy. And when you go to Catholic school, no one bothers to tell you that you're wrong. So common sense would tell you that that's not sexy, and that that's a bad idea, and that you shouldn't break into people's houses. But common sense is based on experiences. And so when you grow up around people who think normal things, then you're going to have the normal common sense. But when you grow up with emo kids, you're going to have special emo common sense. And this has never hit me harder than it did in this circumstance. I've been into about 4 guys in my life. One of them doesn't count. One of them I gave up on really quickly. And the other 2 are both in this story, because this just wrecked everything. So the first guy was a friend of mine. This was before I moved. I was really into him. And things were working out really, really well between us. But there was like a little bit of a problem, which is that we couldn't just hang out all the time. His parents were very strict about it, and they would set a lot of rules. So I didn't always get them. And so I would make up for this by sucking up to the stepfather and bringing him cake. And he was really nice, and he thought that I was nice, which was surprising because I'm not. But it was working really well. So one morning I had plans that afternoon, so I went at 11 in the morning, and I wasn't going to be able to see him for a while, so I was like, I should just hang out with him then. I'm gonna drop by some cake because I can't eat this whole thing. It'll just be a good time. When I got to the house, no one was awake. When you are going over and there's no one up or no one to answer the door, there's a couple things you can do. And the choice that most people would pick is either they would text their friend and go, hey, can I come over? That'd be super cool. I'm at your house. Or you just leave, because if they're not there, they're not there. What are you going to do? I know what you're going to do if everyone's asleep. You're going to break into their house. Yes, I got on WikiHow, got a bobby pin out of my purse, and tried to do the lock thing. I'm bad at this. 5 minutes in, I suddenly remember that this guy, we're gonna call him Mel Gibson. Obviously that's not the real name, just in case you're confused. Right, Mel Gibson had told me a few months earlier that the lock was having a couple issues and it wasn't always locking properly. So I thought that I would just jiggle the lock a bit for 10 minutes until the door just sprang open. So what else am I going to do? I could just leave, still a reasonable reaction, or I could go in, creepily drop off some cake, and go find my friend who's sleeping and wake him up like a creepy piece I think we all know which option I took here. Like, I woke this guy up and we were like talking. He's like, who let you in? And I'm like, no one, I broke in. And at first, he's horrified, which is like a good reaction. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go, that's horrific, don't do that. But then, his little brother comes in and goes, hey, I saw you guys hanging out. And he goes, she broke into our house. And the little brother goes, who cares? And I'm like, huh, maybe it's not that weird. And that is, that little brother needs to learn that breaking into people's houses isn't cool, because someday someone's going to break into their house and the little brother's going to be like, oh, who cares? He stole my PS4. So after the little brother leaves, the guy turns to me and goes, actually, I don't really mind, it's kind of sexy. And I'm like, huh. That isn't what ruined my romance with this guy. What ruined my romance with this guy is that it wasn't the right time or place, and it just didn't work out, and it just didn't work out because it didn't, and I moved away and everything was fine. But the next guy, this is legitimately probably what ruined that. It's about a year afterwards, and I still have a bunch of emo friends. I move away and I still have a bunch of emo friends who don't tell me that I'm stupid. So I know this guy for about 3 or 4 months, and it wasn't for like 3 or 4 months that I actually started talking to him because I was interested in him and I didn't want to say anything. So we're like messaging, everything's cool. He's like a cool emo anime guy, so it's fine, it'll work out, it's great. I'm trying to get him to like me, and I say to him, I really want to break into your house. And he doesn't just outright reject me right there. He goes, yeah, I'd love that. And it's like, don't tell me that. And you see a reasonable human being. Again, this guy should have been like, that's not sexy. Why would you want to break into my house? That's just being a criminal. Like, he just lets me carry on. We're talking, he tells me some days he's available. I pick one of those. And I drive over to his house, which he didn't tell me where it was. I stalked around, asked other people, figured out where this guy lives. I drove over there, and I tried to pick his lock as well. But I obviously wasn't very good at it, and obviously his lock wasn't broken, so I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I had WikiHow, and that's about it. I'm making some noise because this lock isn't doing anything, and it's kind of suspicious. And about 10 minutes in, he opens the door. I don't know what to say in the circumstance, and he's just like, oh, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. I thought I was going to just knock on the door. Hang out with you, that'd be really cool. And he goes, yeah, there's a lot of noise here. Have you been out here long? And I go, there is a squirrel. What does that mean? What? There's a squirrel? No, you were breaking into someone's house past Ray. He still hangs out with me. You know what we do? I make him watch Future Diary, like the cringy emo weeb I was back then. And we'd still kiss, despite this. So because no one had ever told me how socially unacceptable and generally just terrible this was, besides the law, but like no one had ever like had an intervention for me, I had never had the experience of sitting down and being like, oh, this is really cringy, until about a week or 2 ago when I finally remembered this happened. And the only reason I remembered, you know those name tests on Facebook where it goes, what Harry Potter house are you? You put in your name, it goes Ravenclaw, and then you share it to Facebook. You're like, everyone, this random thing just randomly told me I was a Ravenclaw, even though it's just a random number that doesn't have anything to do with you. And well, yeah, but I took one of those. It was like, what anime character are you? I got Yunogasai, and I had been cosplaying her recently, so I thought it'd be funny to share it, because all my friends joke about me being creepy anyway, so why not? And so I'm like, what did I do to deserve this? That guy likes the status, and I don't remember why this is. I'm like, why would this guy like that I'm saying I'm Unogasa? Why would he like a name test? Who likes name tests on Facebook unless they're like your best friend? Nope, he remembered. So I imagine that none of you have any romance stories that are quite as bad as that. None of you have any criminal offenses from breaking into people's houses because you thought that was sexy. But if you have any cringy romance stories, I would love if you would drop them below in the comments so I feel less bad about myself. If you want to watch more videos like this, I might make more videos where I talk about how cringy my past romances were. If I do make those videos, you can subscribe to me and check them out as soon as they come out. That would be amazing. Thank you so much for watching this video and laughing at me and keeping me company on Valentine's Day because, you know, past Rachel thought the future Rachel would be dating someone in college, and I'm not. And you're my Valentine. You're my Valentine. You probably don't want to go on a date with me either because of this outfit. But, you know, it's a thing. Thank you so much for putting up with me. Rach, I'm out. Bye! I broke into his house, or that I tried to break into his house and failed. Which is better? Is it better to have broken into someone's house because you thought it was sexy, or is it better to have not broken into someone's house but only because you failed at it? You tell me. Obviously, that romance did not work out. Maybe because of that, maybe not, probably because of that. Let's be real, I would probably not date someone if they broke into my house, unless they were really cute. Don't take that as an encouragement. Don't break into my house.